Pardon for who?
For Ghislaine Maxwell.
Well, I'm allowed to give her a pardon, but nobody's approached me with it. Nobody's asked me about it. It's in the news about that aspect of it, but right now it would be inappropriate to talk about it. So.
This morning, President Donald Trump stated once again that he is allowed to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell, the very woman who recruited and groomed minors to be abused by the likes of Jeffrey Epstein and other individuals who we unfortunately don't know the identities of yet, and should know the identities of, especially if they have anything to do with our government or have powerful positions in the periphery of our government. But he also said that discussing it is inappropriate. Well, that's almost exactly what Trump said when it came to pardoning other individuals that he then proceeded to pardon. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, here's what I mean.
He said, his words again, I haven't thought about it. Well, some people might say, well, that means he hasn't thought about it and he's not opening the door, and okay. Well, those exact words, do those sound very familiar?
I don't want to talk about pardons for Michael Flynn yet.
You pardoned Paul Manafort?
I have not even given it a thought as of this moment.
Roger Stone, are you going to pardon him, sir? He's been convicted of felonies.
Am I going to pardon him?
Yes.
Well, I hadn't thought of it. I think it's very tough what they did to Roger Stone.
Look, I think the idea of pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell is insane. And the whole reason why this is even coming up is because the DOJ is trying to allegedly interview her to see if there's any. What? Like, what is the point of interviewing Ghislaine Maxwell? We want to see the Epstein files. Okay, we want to see the Epstein files. Obviously, there was evidence used to go after Epstein and the crimes that he committed. Why can't we have access to that? What is the evidence that was used to prosecute? Like, what is Ghislaine Maxwell going to tell, a Trump lawyer or members of the DOJ that she hasn't already disclosed in the context of her own trial? What is this?
Yeah, so if somebody says, hey, are you thinking of pardoning Jeffrey Dahmer? The correct answer is not, I haven't thought about it. The answer is no, are you mental? Why would I do that? Yeah. So Ghislaine Maxwell is the biggest groomer in American history. She would find a lot of the underage girls, bringing them to Epstein, knowing that they were going to be raped. So she's as despicable a character as there is. She was his main accomplice. The idea of letting her go free is unconscionable. Okay, so what is the only reason that Trump might be considering something that everyone, including a lot of Republicans, think it would be the craziest thing we've ever seen? Well, if she drops a couple of Democratic names, political opponents of Donald Trump, and then says that Trump didn't do it, oh, look at that, I got a get out of jail free card, okay? So that way I protect Donnie Trump, I bury a couple of his political opponents, and then I get out of jail. And when did all this come about? That's weird. It was right when Netanyahu visited town. And then afterwards, all of a sudden there was talk of, we're never gonna see the Epstein files. No one will be convicted going forward or prosecuted going forward.
There are no files.
There are no files and there are no clients.
There are no files, no clients, and then all of a sudden now, the files were, it's a hoax made up by the Democrats. So files exist, but it's all made up stuff. It's just sloppiest cover up of all time, really.
And okay, so Ghislaine Maxwell's father is a legendary Mossad agent, and we've gone through a couple of other connections before. The Prime Minister of Israel went to visit Epstein and Maxwell 30 times, etc. Right? So after the Netanyahu visit, no one will ever be prosecuted who was part of that scam. You'll never find out what happened. But then you think it can't get any worse than that. You're like, wait, hold my beer. How about we let his co-conspirator out of jail, out of prison? No way. Are you serious? So like, if it's a Mossad operation, they would be the one group that would have enough power to get her out of prison. And if they do that, man, they keep poking the bear.
Yeah, look, that's the thing though. Is Trump so out of touch that he thinks, oh, we'll just get, let's say this actually does come to fruition and Ghislaine Maxwell says, what Trump would want her to say, that Trump never did anything wrong. See, this is why I can't stand the media, because the media immediately jump to how can we use this story to just make Trump look bad? Let's make this story Trump-centered. And look, Trump is a problem because he's now part of the cover-up, but obsessing over Trump's name in the Epstein files is now taking a story that should be about a cover-up to protect other powerful people who Israel might have blackmail on, or it takes pressure and attention away from the fact that this might have been an intelligence-led blackmail operation.
Yeah.
There's a bigger story here that goes well beyond Donald Trump, but the media is obsessed with Donald Trump. So immediately it gets to, is Donald Trump's name in the list or in the files? And so if Ghislaine Maxwell does what he would want her to do and says, no, there were Democrats implicated, but Daddy Trump is such a good guy, he's not in it at all. Is anyone gonna believe it? And if she's then pardoned, is that gonna make Trump look good?
Yeah, so some of the MAGA might believe it. Oh, finally we got the Democrats. We knew they were the only ones guilty, etc. But the overwhelming majority of the podcasters, the online media guys, and hence their audiences, but also partly their audiences pushing those guys. A lot of them will be like, I cannot believe they let out his co-conspirator. I can't believe it. And here's the thing, guys. If they follow it up, let's say that it's a bipartisan list and it's not BS, right? And it says, okay, here's super powerful people, and she has the goods on them and evidence, and they go to prosecute and put away actual Epstein clients from all across the spectrum. Then great, everybody's gonna be happy, right? But if she comes out with a BS list of like 2 Democrats and then they let her walk and no one is ever prosecuted, so at the end we have 0 people in jail for the Epstein crimes, right? That is not going to fly at all under any circumstance, right? So
let me just
look, one quick thing. To your point about the media now veering away from the intelligence agencies, do I know that it's Mossad? Of course I don't know. I don't have the secret information. I'm telling you the context clues that we're all trying to figure out because they keep hidden. But it could also, for example, be the CIA. So now JD Vance goes and does a secret meeting with Murdoch, right, as the story's about to drop in the Wall Street Journal. So could it be the intelligence agencies say, you know what, lay it on Trump's doorstep and let's get the hell out of here, right? So I don't know, okay, and I don't know that we're gonna know. The way to know is to release the goddamn files instead of doing favors for Donald Trump.
Now, just to walk you through where Ghislaine Maxwell is in this entire process, she is currently pushing the United States Supreme Court to overturn her conviction. Bear with us as we explain all these twists and turns. So back in 2022, Maxwell was convicted to 20 years in prison on 5 counts of sex trafficking. But in April of this year, Maxwell filed an appeal for SCOTUS, and we'll see how that all plays out. She's arguing that she should be covered by the 2008 plea agreement that Jeffrey Epstein negotiated with the United States Attorney's Office in the Southern District of Florida. Now, the US agreed not to bring charges against Epstein's potential co-conspirators, including but not limited to 4 other suspects. And those 4 suspects, by the way, don't even include Ghislaine Maxwell. So there's 4 other co-conspirators who haven't faced prosecution. Think about that.
Yeah, why? And no one, that's why I think it's an intelligence agency. Because why would Biden want to protect Trump and his allies? Why would Trump want to protect Biden, Obama, and his allies? It doesn't make any sense. The only thing that makes sense is an intelligence agency going, I got blackmail on all the powerful people and you're never gonna find out.
Now, Maxwell's lawyers are arguing that she's still covered by that old 2008 plea agreement, but there's a catch. The New York-based Second US Circuit Court of Appeals ruled against Maxwell, finding that the agreement made with prosecutors in Florida did not bind the authorities in New York. Now, Maxwell's appeal to the Supreme Court is still pending, and today she filed a brief with the court urging them to take up her appeal. Here's a statement from one of her lawyers, quote, President Trump built his legacy in part on the power of a deal, and surely he would agree that when the United States gives its word, it must stand by it. We are appealing not only to the Supreme Court, but to the president himself to recognize how profoundly unjust it is to scapegoat Ghislaine Maxwell for Epstein's crimes, especially when the government promised she would not be prosecuted. She was part of those crimes. She was not innocent. She was the person who was seeking and recruiting the very minors who were then abused by Epstein et al. Okay, all the other powerful men who were part of this disgusting scheme. So that's where her appeal to the Supreme Court is at the moment. And yeah, I mean, in terms of Trump's jurisdiction as president of the United States, he would have the ability to pardon her. I think it would look really bad if he did it, though.
All right, last thing here, guys. We're gonna give you an update on Alex Acosta, who gave the light sentence to Epstein in Florida and became Trump's labor secretary. In the bonus episode, hit the join button below the video on YouTube to become a member to get that. And if the Supreme Court rules 5-4 with all the males voting to let Maxwell go and all the females voting to not let her go, then you begin to wonder about the Supreme Court and what do they have on them. The reason I bring that up, guys, is because now we don't trust any of our institutions because they're obviously lying to us. And so the Epstein case isn't just about Epstein and those girls. It's about whether we can have any faith in our institutions. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.